It's roughly 3 weeks before the Britain's Got Talent live shows begin, which is honestly not long when you think about it. And we're now in episode 6 for the auditions for BGT Series 18. I can't believe we're nearly at the end stages of the auditions. It's honestly gone by so quickly, which is just crazy to think. So, without any further ado, really, we've got a lot to talk about in this week's recap and review of BGT Series 18, and it was another strong episode with some good acts as well, and some I was actually really surprised about. But without any further ado, let's get straight into this week's recap. So Saturday, a few days ago, 2 days ago at the time of recording the video, it was episode 6 of Britain's Got Talent 2025. We're now at kind of like the kind of near the end stage of the auditions, which is honestly mad to think. So I've been having such a blast doing these recaps each week, and just honestly, I've been loving doing these videos. I've just absolutely been loving it. So yeah, it was. I've honestly been having so much fun doing these recaps, and I'll also be doing it for America's Got Talent in a few months. In roughly, actually, yeah, in roughly a month's time, month and a half time, because it starts in May, towards the end of May and start of June. So I'll be doing videos then for these videos for AGT. But anyways, it was another really good episode actually this year and this week actually. And if I'm also honest with you, it actually surprised me because when I first looked at the lineup for episode 6 on TV Zone, I wasn't too sure about the lineup, but it actually really surprised me. There's some really good acts actually, if I'm honest with you. But and overall it was a really good episode. And also we had another golden buzzer this week, and it was so good. One of the judges actually pressed it as soon as the act ended, which we'll get to in just a little bit. But anyways, I think we should get started in this week's recap and stop dilly-dallying all around, and let's get straight into the video. So kicking off, we're going to talk about Victor Tang, who is a singer and also a weightlifter. A very interesting act here. He is from Australia, but hailing from Singapore. So shout out to the Singapore people there. And he mentioned about his day job. He was 59 at the audition, and he mentioned that he'd been playing the piano and has sang for the public for the past 18 years. And he mentioned, when he was asked why he auditioned for the show, he mentioned because it was the best, which is awesome. And Alicia actually pointed out that she actually saw him on Australia's Got Talent, so that's an interesting connection there, because I believe she was on Australia's Got Talent back in 2022, I believe. I mean, I didn't really watch Australia's Got Talent as much. The only reason I knew it was the Ramadani brothers, who were on Australia's Got Talent. I think that was the first ever Got Talent competition. Then they went over to Romania, then America. They've yet to do BGT, which I would love to see. Maybe next year, or if I would love, or maybe if they do a Champions, they could do it. But anyways, so let's get into the performance, because it was quite interesting. So the performance started off with him singing "Feeling Good" by Michael Bublé, who was originally done by Nina Simone. He played the piano, and I think at the start I was like, okay, he's singing, it's not too bad. And then it kind of went. Then it took a whole 180, and he removed his shirt, and then he did weightlifting. It was like he had these like weights, as you can see, like dumbbells. He's doing like those things you see at the gym. He did like the pull-ups with a metal bar, and he did that. He took his shirt off, so he basically had a whole six-pack, which looked insane on him. Also, what did he also do? He did weightlifting, pull-ups, and he basically sang through the whole performance while doing the exercises and etc. And Alicia mentioned it was funny and different. With Simon also mentioned that he had thrown around half the world to sing and strip, do the weightlifting, and actually mentioned that he actually liked him, and he also mentioned it was different. Now, if I'm honest with you, I am kind of mixed on this act, because I think as a singer, I mean, his voice I say it was decent enough, but I think the weightlifting and the whole weightlifting, the press ups, the pull ups, it didn't complement the act very well. It didn't really mix well together. So it's an act I really do not know. I really don't know how to judge because it's just I do not. I don't know. I really don't know how to feel about this act, but he got through, which I guess I can see why, but it just it just didn't really make sense to me in my opinion. Like I mean if it was just him singing, I think it would have been possible. It would have been accept more. I would have probably been okay. This I can accept this. You know, he's singing maybe not the strongest, but he's doing a decent job. Um, but then the weightlifting didn't really work for me, so it was just. I mean, I barely go to the gym. I feel like I should sometimes, but I don't go to the gym. So, but you know, it just wasn't my favorite. It was okay. It was an okay act. I don't know if is this going to make the semi-finals. I mean, if Alicia convinces them to, I don't know, because sometimes they do like at the novelty kind of comic acts, I guess, in there, which is just you know, which they do seem to do quite often. So yeah, that's that. So that was that. Oh, I pressed the wrong button there. My apologies. I pressed the up key instead of the arrow key. So then next up we had the LC Pop Choir, who are a choir, as you can hear. They hail from Leeds and they're aged 18 to 35. And the choir was actually founded by it was basically founded in 2015, so 10 years ago, basically, and it consisted of students, graduates, and basically friends. And then when asked about doing the show, they mentioned that they thought that this was the best time to do it. They wanted to push themselves and they wanted to put themselves out there, aiming to work for the status of being one of the best British choirs, which is nice, you know. And but honestly, this performance here really just put a big smile on my face because you can tell the audience were loving this, and they performed "Unwritten" by Natasha Bedingfield. I love that song. And Natasha Bedingfield was a very talented singer. You know, she was on The Masked Singer America as Pepper. She got to the Group 8 finals, I believe, alongside. She was voted out that episode with the Pistol singer Johnny Ross and John Lydon. If people, you know, that's Johnny Ross basically his nickname. But I really liked this performance. I loved the voices blending in together. You know, they made it fun. You could tell they were having the absolute time of their lives up there. And I think even I think Alicia mentioned that the guy in the pink hair, he seemed to be having the best time there, which was honestly great. But honestly, I really liked this performance. I think vocally they were really good. I love seeing choirs on the show as they always bring so much happiness to me. And I think this is the second choir so far this year. I mean, of course, we've had Hear Our Voice from episode 2, literally a month ago now. And they were the post office, the group of people who were involved around the post office scandal. So we had them. And I think now they're the second choir to be on the show, which is pretty cool. But yeah, I really liked this performance. Bruno mentioned that they gave so much power to the performance and they gave the real feel of everyone. And Amanda mentioned that she loved what they brought to the stage. And you know, I completely agree with what the judges said here because I thought they were great. I loved the voices together. The blending of the harmonies were amazing, and you could just tell they're having the time of their lives up there. And just coming from someone who loves a choir, I thought they were great. I would love to see them in the semi-finals. And I think they were fantastic. I loved them. Absolutely loved them. And then next up we have Bust a Move, who hail from South Wales, I believe. Because are they from? Yeah, they're from South Wales. So they are dance group Bust a Move, age 6 to 16. At the time of the audition, of course. So basically, it consists of young ladies here and their parents, with the only young man in there being Dominic. And so you know, and they mentioned if they were to win, they would buy sweets. They would buy loads of sweets, which is best answer. I mean, come for someone who doesn't. I actually don't like sweets. You know, I'm a very. I don't. I just start the taste of very sweets. It's just. Yeah, I don't really like the taste of them. Um, so the performance actually started off. They did a routine to "Rock This Party." Everybody dancing out by Bob Sinclair and QTB. Um, and it was kind of like the salsa, bit of cha 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 going on there. You know, I thought it was like decent. It was a decent, you know, it was pretty decent starting off, and then literally after they done their bit, they invited their parents onto the stage to perform, and they did a routine, their routine too. A little party killed never killed nobody by Fergie. And then they did their own routine, and one of them was actually one of the dads there, which I find pretty cool. So in the younger generation, there's one young lad there, and now in the grown up section, there's only one man there, which I thought was really cool. And then they finished the performance by doing it together, which I thought was really sweet. And then Alicia mentioned that they loved the element of surprise that they showed, and Amanda mentioned it was an amazing surprise, and I was definitely not expecting their parents to join, because I was like, okay, so they're on stage, the youngsters, they're on the stage, they're doing their thing. I thought it was pretty, I thought it was good, But then once they invite the parents to join the stage, I was like, okay, oh, I'm here for this, and it was great. I love seeing their parents joining in. It was just so much fun, and you can tell they're having the best time up there. And and also it was somewhat charming in a way, just to think about, because it's a bunch of kids, youngsters doing it with their parents, and it's honestly really nice to see that happen. It was really nice, and it was a nice performance. It was a very nice performance all around. And now we're going to talk about Bruno's golden buzzer, Maya Gautier, who is from Romania and aged 14. She's a student, and let me tell you, I have to say, um, uh, just we're gonna get into it in just a minute. So basically, she mentioned why she wanted to do the show. She mentioned that it's been one of her biggest dreams for such a long time, and she's now here. And I had good hopes for her. I had a feeling she was gonna be good, but I was not expecting her to be that good. if that you mean. Because so she performed "Listen" by Beyonce, and once the moment I heard her sing that first song, I was like, okay, she's doing this song. Because this song by Beyonce, Beyonce's got a powerhouse voice, and that song alone is so hard to do, because it's a very technical song. And let me tell you, she blew the house down with her voice. Like, it was her range, the ad libs she was going as well. The voice, her voice was phenomenal. The range she was hitting, and the ad libs, the vocal runs that she was doing in between, was just. And the fact is, she's 14 years old, which really makes this even better, because if she was like, I don't know, 20 years old, 30 years old, or maybe 18 years old, she would have still had a great voice. I was like, great voice. But the fact she's only 14 years old and having this phenomenal voice is just absolutely mind blowing. She's just absolutely. And and as soon as she finished the performance, literally Bruno went straight in with the golden buzzer, and literally I cannot blame him for doing that, because I think anyone else in there would have done the same. Even I would, because when I was watching it at home, I was literally saying to myself, "Where's the golden buzzer? It needs to be hit, and it needs to be pressed right now." Like, I was using my imaginary golden buzzer at the time, but it wasn't working. But literally, Bruno was like, "Oh, this is just she is incredible," and then she pressed it literally as soon as she ended. At least it wasn't midway through the performance, like he did with Ghetto Kids. So that's a good sign. But honestly, she was just spectacular. Her voice is just out of this world. No, I could honestly, I could go on for ages just to say how amazed I was. I think she could be real. I mean, I have to say this year's Golden Buzzers have been very singer heavy, as we've got a total of, I think, 4 singers that have gotten the Golden Buzzer, being Vinnie McKee, Stacey Lee Better, and now Linda Mazenda. Which are now, I mean, Simon's second one of Electric Umbrella could be considered that, I guess, but they're choir. But okay, 4 solo singers out of the five out of the ones we have, and we've got the Blackouts, we've got Ollie, we've got Will, the Impressionist. Um, but yeah, she was absolutely just sensational. Her voice was incredible, and the fact she's only 14 years old, having that powerhouse voice like that is just absolutely mind blowing. To think she's just, yeah, she could go honestly very far in the competition, and I hope to see her go far as well, because she is just absolutely just amazing. She is just amazing, absolutely fantastic. And now we go on to the next act, which was the Idols. Very technical name to say, who, aka the Fabulous Sisters. For those for all you BGT fans out there, they were on BGT back in 2019, and they got to the semi-finals. But they actually came back as Idols, which, to be honest with you, they so they went under the name Idols, which is fair. If they want to change their name a little bit, which is of course it's okay. So basically, their audition, there's no like speaking to the judges. They literally opened the curtains, and they were literally there, and they performed a kind of a quote unquote spooky rendition, Nutcracker inspired performance. Which was to Dance to the Sugar Plum Fairy by Tchaikovsky. If you don't know what that is, it's basically a ballet. That's a very famous ballet. That's who it's by. Um, I mean, I've n- I you know it's, I mean it's the type of classical music you hear at Christmas time, but you don't know the name of it. And I mean, I've heard it many times. I've actually forgotten the name of it as well, because you really hear it about around Christmas time. But so that was that. Um, and they kind of did that a kind of robotic kind of. There was like a track to it. Um, they moved their bodies, and it was kind of like in a robotic matter, and they're acting like wind up dolls, like those wind up things, you put a key in and you just turn the key and it kind of like winds up. That makes sense. But so my description was bad, but it was just, I thought this was an amazing act. The synchronicity that the girls had, just was amazing. The way they played the characters as well, like they were really playing up to the characters because they're like dolls, or they're acting like dolls, so they really kind of acted like the character would be. So that was what I really liked as well. Chaos, I even kind of jokingly said, I don't know if I should be amazed or I should be scared, which I kind of agree, because because it's because because like when you look at them, it's a bit creepy. Like, oh, why are you looking at me like that? Like, it's creeping me out, but at the same time, it's amazing. At the same time, they are just great. I thought this was amazing. I love seeing dance groups on the show. I think they are superb, absolutely just brilliant stuff, and I absolutely just loved them. They were just fantastic, absolutely fantastic. But the thing is, what made me thinking about now is as they are it's basically the Fabulous Sisters, but they've gone under a different name. So the fact they were on the BGT a few years ago and they got to the semi-finals, do you think they're gonna let them do it as well? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I would hope so, because they've changed the name, so it's not like it's the same. It's the same kind of dance group. They just went and they probably have different members now, if that makes sense. But I don't know, but still, it was still a fantastic audition. It's definitely one of my favourites this year. They are fantastic. And now the next act here, it wasn't actually a full audition, but it was actually a prank on KSI, which was the Tormentor. Um, so um, so we'll get into it because it was absolutely. This is probably one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life, and seeing KSI freaking out was amazing. So the audition basically started that he basically invited KSI on stage, and he strapped him in a big wooden chair, which kind of looks like one of those execution chairs you see like in the American movies, where they had the electric chair. They would sit in this big chair, and you get strapped in, and the electricity stuff would come down, and etc. So and then basically he kind of seemingly like reading his mind and seeing KSI's childhood crush, who actually turned him down. And he played some of his own music in a pair of headphones. To It's Not Over Yet. Summertime, I think, was one of them. And honestly, KSI's music is so underrated. He's a very good singer as well. And then he basically blindfolded him before acting as if he was going to use his greatest fear of insects against him and placing a whole box nearby him. And then which KSI basically was freaking out and screaming his head off. It was very funny to see his reaction, but the guy actually used a little feather, like a little feather on a stick. He basically tickled him on the chin, and even though KSI didn't know. Like, he was literally freaking out. He was like screaming his head off. He was like, "Please have mercy!" And which was honestly so funny, And honestly, I actually misheard that because I heard him say that in the first trailer. I thought he said, "I can't see," so I completely misheard that. So because leading up to the episode, I thought he said something like, "Oh, I can't see," but he was actually saying, "Have mercy," which. But then the performer basically behind the act then revealed themselves to be his own brother, Dechi, which I don't really know who Dechi is. I haven't really seen much of his content, but it was KSI's brother, which I thought was so cool. To basically pulled a prank on his own brother, which I thought was funny as hell. And it wasn't like a full-on audition, so he was probably there for like just to do this act, which was very funny. I just thought it was super funny. Seeing KSI's reaction as well was amazing, and just there's not much. It's not really much to say because it wasn't like an audition, but it was just kind of like a joke, if that makes sense. But I still really enjoyed it. It was still very, very funny as well, just to see his reaction. The fact it was his brother as well was just brilliant. It was absolutely just fantasticness. I loved it. Oh, are we missing something here? No, I'm not. I need to type it. Because I need to get the next act up. It's not where it is on here. There we go. I found it now. So the next act we had was was easily my favorite one of the night, and I'd say the best act as well. Mine was fantastic, but I thought he was exceptional. So, and that was Albert Amores. Get me phone quickly to do some other research. So Albert Amores, an aerialist hailing from Spain. So massive shout out to all the viewers in Spain, aged 18. And when he was asked about why he wanted to do the show, he mentioned that he saw him. He saw the show when he was a kid, and basically many videos on YouTube about the show, and he wanted to show his art on the stage, which is a very good response as well, I must admit. And I need to get something. Just typing something in. Sorry about this, folks. I'm very so I do these videos between Sunday and Monday, so that's why this may be a little bit rubbish though. So he did a aerial routine to Beautiful Things by Benson Boone, and whilst performing on the stage itself before then performing it in the air with the pole. And this performance was absolutely just legit perfection. It was literally perfection from start to finish. And and even Bruno described it as well perfectly, being this poetry in motion, and the artistry he had as well for his age was truly just remarkable. The graciousness he also displayed in the act was amazing, just mesmerizing. And Simon literally, mentioned this perfectly. And this is what I was going to say. He mentioned that. He mentioned that every so often, somebody comes on that just has a star quality about them, and that is him. And I literally was going to say that um, Simon said it, because it really was just. It seemed like he'd been doing it for his entire life. It was just no. It was just literally just perfection, absolute perfection, and it's just him as just an act is just amazing. His artistry is unbelievable, and I could see him being a. I can actually see him being a force to be reckoned with in the competition. I think he is just amazing, absolutely just stunning. This was a stunning act, and honestly, I'd be amazed if he wasn't in the live shows, because I can actually see him being a pretty good dark horse in the competition. So I just think he's just utterly remarkable of what he does, and just it was an absolute sensational performance. Definitely up there as one of the best of the night, without a doubt. And next up, we had Alexandra Bulgario, who is from Canada, and is a magician, aged 34, and she was on last year. She was on Canada's Got Talent, and also on Penn and Teller Fuller, which I love Penn and Teller, so shout out to them. So her audition basically had Alexandra putting tape over Simon's mouth. Before then, she started tossing a collection of balloons into the audience, which consisted of playing cards of various numbers, colours, suits, before she gradually actually wiped them off the board until there was like one left. But no, so there was but one option left, which was the Ace of Hearts. And she and so they basically changed it to the Ace of Hearts. Um, and then she had the Ace of Hearts appear from her mouth, which was amazing. She then so the next part, where she actually took the tape off, and she actually asked Simon to choose a card from a lip serving board using a laser pointer. Which, by the way, those laser pointers just seem so cool. I used to have one of those. I actually used to have one of those laser pointers. They were really cool as well. I used to really like. I just thought they were really cool. And the word he chose was that Simon chose was fierce. And then she removed the tape that she had over his mouth, which revealed to be the word fierce, and that it was on the other side of Simon's tape that he had been wearing. And I was literally in disbelief watching. I was like, how did that? Like, how did she have that on? Like, I mean, I even was watching it, and like when she put the duct tape on, I couldn't see any pen on there, so it was just insane just watching this. And so Amanda remarked that the whole act was really well put together, and it was intelligent. The way that she carried herself, the confidence was mind blowing. And Bruna mentioned that she controlled her control, and she was a great performer. And I completely agree with what the judges said, because she was amazing. I thought she was brilliant. I will say I do think she will make the live shows, but I mean, anyways, back to the act. I think as a showman, she is absolutely fantastic. The showmanship she had, and just there's she's got this presence about her that just I really like. But she is just got so much talent. She's so talented, and just the presence she has as well. I loved the whole routine of her, including the audience. You know, with the balloons, and that was really cool. And of course the laser, and I could definitely see her having her own show in the near future. I think she is very, very talented. I thought she was just great. I thought she was absolutely fantastic. She was great. And then we go on to the next act, who was the only, actually, not counting the tormentor, but the only actor that didn't get to the next round, which was Jason Watkins, who basically how old was he at the time of his audition? No, I don't really no. I can't remember what his age was. I think it said something, but so he basically did the show a few times before, but he never made it on the air. Which is but he actually performed a original song about Bruno because he mentioned that Bruno's his favorite judge, and he basically was doing his own song. Um, yeah, he was and he was even wearing kind of an hang on, put some headphones on just because I like wearing ear defenders sometimes. But anyways, as I was saying, he mentioned that he basically did a song wearing a inflatable chicken, and who he actually dubbed as Big what's the name? Big Butch, which was a brilliant name. But it was actually buzzed off by both Simon and Alicia, and it ended up with a two yeses and two nos, and that meant he didn't get through to the next round, which is fair because the singing wasn't the best, and the song, I mean Bruno, I can't imagine what Bruno must have been thinking watching that performance. I was just like, I kind of feel bad for him at that point. So but it didn't do much for me. Sorry, Jason, but he didn't get through to the next round, which makes sense. So we won't be seeing him in the next round. And finally, we end off the episode with CJ Emmons, a singer who's a singer. Okay, let me get him up quickly. There he is. So he's a singer, aged 43, from Houston, Texas. Actually now living in LA. And actually, when he came on, Bruno actually mentioned that he knew him. And he said that he's been a backup singer for Dancing with the Stars, and I mean, I would not have known because I don't watch Dancing with the Stars whatsoever. So, and um, and he's actually been there since 2012, which is a very long time. So, that's that. Um, and when he was asked why he was performing on the show, he mentioned that Bruno actually inspired him, which is great. So he basically mentioned he was a backup singer, and I don't think he'd been given the best break yet. But I think after this performance, I think he could get that break. So so actually, we'll get to. So he actually mentioned that before the audition. He explained that his babysitter told his mum that he could sing when he was a child. That to his mother's disbelief, the babysitter, but he actually put him on the talent competition to prove to his mum that he could sing. And the first song he ever did was Whitney Houston. And he also explained that he'd always wanted to be a singer growing up, stepping out of the shadows of being a vocalist on the dancing competition. As I mentioned, he was on Dance with the Stars. And he performed "I Will Always Love You" by Whitney Houston, one of the greatest songs ever, Whitney Houston, and also one of the best singers in the world because her voice was absolutely phenomenal, and a talent we lost way too soon. And oh my god, all I can say is, how has he not been given the break to share his talent? Because this was absolutely knockout. His voice was absolutely just incredible. Like his range he was hitting was amazing. Just the just the everything about this performance was just amazing. And I'm just amazed that I'll get to share my thoughts in a second. Um, so Amanda mentioned the way that he started so softly was like broken and built up, and Alicia mentioned that it was a God-given talent that he had, and I completely agree with the judge what they were saying. And Bruno was actually getting emotional talking to him after his performance, as you can tell how much he had respect for CJ, and I don't blame him because it's crazy to think that he has not been given, like, it's crazy to think that he's been a backup singer for that long, but he has been given the opportunity to have his voice heard, because honestly, his talent is just absolutely amazing. And I mean, to take guts to do a Whitney Houston song is a very technical song to do, and it's one of the best songs ever. He he just blew me away with his voice. Like, he was absolutely just amazing, and I really hope this does something for him, because I think, like, he deserves to have his own record label. Right, his voice is just amazing. He is just a breath of fresh air. I absolutely loved this performance. It was an amazing audition. I think we're definitely going to see him in the semi-finals. I could see him being another dark horse in the competition to do well, because I think he's just got this star quality to him, and just, I mean, I know people are going to be quite upset, saying, "Oh, he's a professional; he shouldn't be on the show." I can get where people are saying from, because it's a show that's just basically for amateurs. But at the same time, like, some of these people, like, have not been given the break yet. Like, I mean, with Lauren Allred, from The Great Showman, she did Never Enough, but it was actually she actually did the voice for was it Rebecca Ferguson? I think that's her name. So Lauren was actually doing the singing behind the curtain, and she never really got the chance to and she got all the way to the final, and deservedly in my opinion, because her talent was just amazing, and the fact she got to share her talent with the world, with Britain as well, was amazing. But yeah, he was absolutely just amazing. This was a fantastic way to end the night. I just thought he was just amazing, amazing voice. I just hope we see him in the semi-finals. So he has just got an incredible talent. So there you have it. That is this week's recap and review for Britain's Got Talent episode 6. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And there's only 2 audition episodes left before the semi-finals, so that I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm hoping to see some of the acts shown in the promo for this upcoming episode, because I know we've got Arius. They based a guy with lasers. There was a guy doing some sort of routine with lasers, and it was pitch black, which looked awesome. And another magician that was shown a few times before, because he hasn't been aired quite yet. So I'm also hoping he gets aired this upcoming week. And also, apparently, there is a golden buzzer. Apparently, I'm not too sure, but Simon on the stage. But again, I got no idea. But again, I cannot wait for this week's for the upcoming episode, because I hope we get some more brilliant acts to end off the night, or just end of the audition stages. I think the semi-finals are going to really be like, I cannot wait for the semi-finals once we get to them, and the fact that they're doing it weekly, I love that idea, because I think I liked it, each night, but it can get a bit tiring when you think about it, doing it watching it every single night. But I think it's a good idea they're doing it each week. I like the idea. But anyways, I'm going to end it here. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please like and subscribe with post notification turned on. I would really appreciate that. But again, thank you so much for watching this video. And of course, I will see you guys next time.